The hall was vast, lined with polished metal walls that reflected the glow of the overhead lights. Rows of observers filled the seats, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. At the center stood a sleek piano, its surface gleaming under the lights, an odd artifact in this advanced facility. The boy, barely 12, approached it cautiously, his small hands trembling slightly. His name was Leo Dot at the front of the hall. Commander Rion, a tall man with a stern demeanor, leaned forward. He had made a bold promise to the council, overseeing the human colonies. If Leo could play even a single note that carried through the hall with clarity and emotion, he would kneel before him as a sign of respect. Many whispered that the boy could not succeed, that this was an impossible challenge for someone so young. Leo's foster father, an older man named Cade, stood behind him. He had been through many battles to protect the boy, and he trusted Leo's abilities in ways that no one else did. "Just focus on the music," Cade whispered, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Leo nodded, taking a deep breath. The hall fell silent as the boy reached the keys. His fingers hovered, hesitant, before pressing down on the first note. The sound was soft but pure, resonating in a way that made the metal walls seem to warm. A murmur passed through the audience. Some leaned forward, uncertain if they were hearing something real. Rion's expression did not change, though his eyes flickered with a trace of curiosity. The boy continued, moving through scales and simple melodies, each note cleaner and more confident than the last. It was as if the piano itself responded to his touch, amplifying the music in a way that seemed almost alive. The observers, many of whom were veterans of interstellar missions, began to feel a strange sensation. It was not just music. It was a language they did not fully understand, but felt deeply. The notes carried memories, hopes, and a connection to something distinctly human. It reminded them of the fragility and brilliance of their species, something no machine or alien technology could replicate. A council member leaned to whisper to another, "He is playing as if he knows every heartbeat in this room." Leo's confidence grew with each passing moment. The boy played a sequence that was unfamiliar yet comforting, weaving emotions into each note that even the most analytical minds struggled to quantify. The melody flowed effortlessly, wrapping around the listeners, softening even the sternest faces. Commander Rion had seen countless displays of talent, from engineered musicians to enhanced humans trained from birth. Yet there was something raw and untouched about this performance that set it apart. He felt an unfamiliar tug at his chest, a recognition that human potential, untainted by enhancement or strategy, could still surpass expectation now as the final note lingered. Echoing through the hall, a profound silence followed. It was a silence heavy with awe and disbelief, the kind of quiet that comes when a room realizes it has witnessed something extraordinary, something beyond ordinary comprehension. Every eye was fixed on Leo, who stood still, cheeks flushed but calm in his determination. Rion's posture changed subtly. He straightened, then took a measured step forward. He had made a promise, and no skepticism, no pride, could prevent him from honoring it. Slowly, deliberately, he knelt before the boy. The act was not theatrical. It was sincere, an acknowledgement of a human capability that transcended expectations. The council members murmured among themselves, some rising from their seats to get a better view. "He has done it," one said, voice barely above a whisper. "He has reminded us of what humans can truly achieve." Cade approached the boy, pride shining in his eyes. "You did it, Leo," he said softly, "just as I knew you would." Leo looked down at Rion, uncertainty flickering in his gaze. You will kneel?" he asked, his voice quiet but firm. Rion nodded. "I promised, and promises must be kept." There was a weight in his words, not of submission, but of respect earned. The gesture spoke louder than any words could have. The audience slowly broke into applause, hesitant at first, then swelling into a wave of admiration. Many were moved to tears, not out of sentimentality, but from a recognition that human creativity and resilience could shine even in the face of doubt. It was a powerful reminder that no technology, no strategy, could replicate the raw essence of the human spirit. One of the younger council members, her eyes wide with wonder, whispered, "It is as if he is telling the story of every human who has struggled and triumphed." Leo allowed himself a small smile, the tension finally easing from his shoulders. He had not just played a piano. He had reminded everyone in the room why humans were remarkable. The sound of one note had rippled outward to touch every heart, proving that potential and talent could never be underestimated. Rian rose from his kneeling position, a newfound respect in his gaze. He addressed the audience, voice firm but filled with conviction. "Today, we have witnessed something exceptional. Let this be a lesson to all of us. Never underestimate the potential that lies within someone, no matter their age or circumstance. Human creativity and courage can surpass the limits we impose upon it." The council members nodded in agreement, some murmuring their approval, others visibly shaken by the impact of the performance. Leo's music had done more than entertain. It had inspired, reminding them of a fundamental truth about humanity. As the crowd began to disperse, several individuals approached Leo and Kaid, offering congratulations and expressing wonder at the boy's abilities. Scientists, soldiers, and strategists alike found themselves drawn into conversation, each trying to understand how such a small person could evoke such powerful emotion. Leo remained humble, quietly acknowledging the praise with a nod. He had not sought recognition. His goal had always been to share the music that lived within him. Yet the world around him had changed in an instant. People who had doubted him now saw him as a symbol of what humans could achieve when their gifts were nurtured and allowed to flourish. Later, as the hall emptied and the lights dimmed, Kaid and Leo stayed behind, the boy running his fingers over the keys once more. The notes were softer now, more introspective, but no less profound. "You played brilliantly," Kaid said, his voice filled with warmth. "Do you understand what you just did?" Leo shook his head slightly. "I just played," he replied simply. "I didn't know it would change anything." "It changed everything," Kaid said. "You reminded everyone here that humans are capable of more than machines, more than plans and protocols. You reminded them that heart and courage still matter." The boy's eyes sparkled, not with pride, but with a quiet understanding. He had discovered something deeper about himself, a connection to the world that went beyond notes and rhythms. In that moment, he felt a part of something larger, something that transcended the physical boundaries of the hall. Outside, the city hummed with its usual energy, unaware of the transformation that had occurred within the human council. News of the performance would spread quickly, carried by word of mouth and encrypted messages, inspiring countless individuals across the colonies. The idea that humans could achieve greatness through raw talent and determination would take root, fueling hope and ambition where doubt had once prevailed. Leo and Kaid walked together, leaving the hall behind. "Do you think they will ever forget this?" Leo asked. Kaid smiled, a rare softness in his eyes. "No, not if we keep reminding them what humans can do." As they reached the entrance, the boy glanced back at the piano one last time. It had been a simple instrument, yet through his touch, it had become a conduit for possibility and wonder. He knew he would play again, perhaps in places even grander than this hall. But he also understood that the true power of his gift lay not in recognition, but in the way it moved people, awakened courage, and reminded them of their shared humanity. And somewhere in the shadows of the hall, Rian watched them leave. He did not speak, but in his eyes, There was a quiet acknowledgment. The boy had done what few could, and in doing so, he had changed the way humans saw themselves. The memory of that single note lingered long after the hall had emptied, echoing in the minds and hearts of all who had been present. It was a reminder that even in a universe filled with technology and strategy, the essence of humanity, creativity, courage, and emotion remained unmatched. That note, pure and unwavering, had spoken louder than any command or protocol. It had reminded everyone present that human potential could never be fully measured, contained, or predicted. And as Leo disappeared into the night, a quiet promise lingered in the air. Humans would continue to surprise, inspire, and endure, no matter the odds. In the end, it was not just a promise kept by a commander kneeling before a boy. It was a promise kept by humanity itself, a silent vow that the spirit of courage and creativity would always rise, shining brightly, even in the darkest of times.